Sometimes people will say that, and I think Ehrman did this as well, that if Jesus was really forgiving the sin, why wouldn't he say, I forgive you? Why did he say your sins are forgiven in the passive?
Mm.
And so that's an argument that's made that, well, maybe that's the divine passive,
Yeah,
quote
and
unquote. Now,
it's not like the paralytic man sinned against Jesus, right?
yeah,
There's no personal
right.
attack.
Yeah, there's actually no third party forgiveness. I talk about this in the book. There's no third party forgiveness in Judaism or even in the Greco Roman world. Even if you sinned against a god, you could ask that god to forgive you, even in this pantheistic, polytheistic environment. But you couldn't ask one god to forgive you for something you did to another god. Even Nero couldn't ask religious figures like the Magi to forgive him for what he did to his mom. He asked the Magi to perform a seance to call up his mother's ghost so he could beg her for forgiveness.
Hmm.
So I looked into all the Greco-Roman stories, very interesting, as well as the Jewish side. There is no such thing as third-party forgiveness. So the scribes knew only God forgave sin. But to answer this question about the divine passive, first of all, the divine passive, quote unquote, is not really a grammatical category. You have to get it from the context. It's not like a grammar thing, it's a context thing. If you go back, and I do this in the book, you can look up all the texts. If you go back into the Old Testament, you find where God speaks just like that. God actually speaks in the passive, and he says their sins will be forgiven or their sins will not be forgiven. And so Jesus is actually speaking like God does.
Hmm.
And we have to appreciate how implicit claims work in the Gospels. Because for those who say, as Ehrman does, if Jesus really said things like, I and the Father are one in the Gospel of John, or before Abraham was, I am, then why don't we see any hint of a divine claim like that in the Synoptics? But the thing is, we shouldn't conflate or rather confuse the existence of a claim with the directness of a claim. Just because Jesus isn't being exactly direct about it doesn't mean there's no claim there.